No matter how responsible you are with your finances, life can still throw you unexpected curveballs. Whether it's a medical emergency, job loss, or sudden repair costs, having an emergency fund could be a financial lifeline in a crisis. Building an emergency fund is an important part of financial planning, and in this video I'll discuss why you should save an emergency fund and how to do it. When it comes to your financial well-being, having an emergency fund is a must. An emergency fund can help you cover the cost of unexpected expenses, like a sudden home repair bill. It can also provide peace of mind in case you lose your job or have an unexpected period of reduced income. An emergency fund can give you the financial freedom to make decisions without worrying about how you'll pay for them. For example, if you need to take time off work to care for a sick family member, you won't have to worry about losing your income while you do it. You'll also have the money to replace your car if it breaks down unexpectedly, rather than having to take out a loan and start a long-term debt. In short, having an emergency fund means that life's unexpected events won't knock you off track financially. If you're already living paycheck to paycheck, having a rainy day fund can provide some breathing room and help you stay afloat during tough times. It's ideal to have 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenditure saved as an emergency fund. This amount may seem high, but it's important to have enough money saved in case of an emergency so that you don't have to rely on other methods, like borrowing from friends and family or taking out a loan. Depending on your income and financial situation, this amount could be more or less. For example, if you're living paycheck to paycheck with no other source of income, you should aim for 6 months' worth of expenses saved in your emergency fund. If you're living comfortably though and already have some savings, then 3 months' worth of expenses should just about do it. The exact amount you should save in your emergency fund depends on a few factors. Consider how secure your job is and how much money you need to live each month. You should also factor in any other sources of income and savings, such as investments or a second job. Once you've determined your monthly living expenses and the amount of income and savings you have, you can calculate how much you should save in your emergency fund. When saving for an emergency fund, it's important to remember that it should not be used as an investment or savings account. It's meant solely to cover unexpected expenses or to use during periods of unemployment. It should only be used in cases of absolute emergencies and not as a way to splurge on items you don't need. An emergency fund is an essential part of any financial plan. Saving the right amount can help you stay on track financially, even when the unexpected happens. When it comes to saving an emergency fund, the most important thing is to make sure you're able to access the money when you need it. For this reason, it's best to keep your emergency fund in an easy access account. This could be a traditional savings account, a money market account, or even a high yield savings account. Whichever account you choose, make sure it pays you a good interest rate. That way, your emergency fund can grow over time, even as you're taking money out to use in an emergency. It's also important to make sure the bank or financial institution where you keep your emergency fund is reputable and secure. Finally, remember that your emergency fund should not be kept in a retirement account or other long-term investment. You want to be able to access the money quickly and easily in case of an emergency. By keeping your emergency fund in an easy access account with a good interest rate, you can ensure that your money is safe and secure while still earning some extra money on it too. Creating an emergency fund is an essential part of financial planning, but it can be hard to know where to start. The key is to make saving for an emergency fund a regular part of your budget. The first step is to decide how much money you want to save each month. Make sure to choose an amount that is realistic and achievable for your current financial situation. You may want to start with a small amount, such as £25 a month, and gradually increase it as you can. Once you've determined how much you want to save each month, the next step is to set up a standing order into the account you're going to use to build your emergency fund. This will ensure that your savings are automatically transferred each month, so you don't have to remember to manually move the money yourself. You should also consider setting up a separate bank account specifically for your emergency fund, as this will keep it separate from your other accounts and make it easier to track your progress. Many banks offer special savings accounts that come with higher interest rates than regular savings accounts, so you can maximise the return on your money. Finally, you may want to consider setting up reminders for yourself so that you don't forget about saving for your emergency fund each month if you haven't set up a direct debit. Whether it's a note in your calendar or an alert on your phone, these reminders will help keep you on track with your goal of building a solid emergency fund. When life throws you a curveball and you have an unexpected expense, it can be difficult to know where to turn. That's why it's so important to have an emergency fund. Your emergency fund is designed to provide you with a safety net should you ever find yourself in need of some extra cash. This fund can be used for anything from unexpected expenses to lost income due to job loss, and if you need to dip into your emergency fund, it's important to do so carefully. It's also important to replenish it as soon as possible. Once you've used your emergency fund, it's important to begin rebuilding it straight away. Take time to assess your budget and adjust it accordingly so that you can set aside money each month to rebuild your fund. Before tapping into your emergency fund, however, consider whether or not there are other resources available to help you meet your needs.